Hey folks, it's August the 18th. We have two fir trees down here. I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but I've got one here now sitting next to the first one that we took. And we're about to take tree number 3 down today. I wasn't all that happy with the way the first video turned out, just where it got interrupted and stuff like that. So I think I'm going to take the time to walk through the whole process again of turning a full-size or mature fir tree into a nice log like this that we're going to use down the road on a structure. And then I may explain a little bit towards the end of the video of what kind of structure I'm thinking about building out of these, and my logic, I guess, behind it, what I'm doing here with my forestry work. So anyways, if you guys want to join me for this, I'm working the camera myself today, so I'm going to have to take some pauses to turn it on and off and set up and stuff like that. So bear with me. Anyways, we're going to start with a tree here that's just behind the camera, and I'm hoping to have that fall down right over top of the logs that I have laying here already. So, just one moment. Alright, so the one we're taking down today is right here. One of the things I was also told about in choosing my trees is to look for ones that have at least a third or more of their tree that's green, I guess, going up the tree trunk. And this one here looks like it's coming past maturity. A lot of the branches up above my head here are dead, and the crown on this tree does not look very large. It certainly doesn't look like a third of the tree trunk. So I think I have a mature fir tree right here. It's got a little bit of a bend right here at the bottom. It kind of straightens out from about this height here up as far as I'm going to need it to. So it's not as pertinent here on this tree that I cut a really low notch. I'll still try to do it just because I like to do that and keep my stumps low anyways. But anyways, we're going to start. I'll see how quickly I can knock this thing down. We've got to notch it on this side and notch it down low so that we can try to get it to fall right over top of these trees that are already down here behind me. I'm back to using my Fisker's axe because I think I said on the last video the axe handle I had tried there for that really large Grand Force Brooks axe head that I have. It didn't do the trick. It was a little bit too thin at the top, which means I've got to take an even bigger piece of wood at some point and try to work it down to make an axe head that'll work for that. It's a lot of work making an axe handle. A lot of time goes into it. So when you're cutting your trees, I don't know if people are familiar with using axes, but you generally, to make a notch, you're going to do a couple swings downwards at this sort of an angle, and then you're going to do a couple swings upwards to chip it out. And all together, this should take less than 10 minutes to get this one down. It's not a really large tree, but it looks like it's an adequate size for what I want. Hard to talk and work really fast. And don't expect music to be on during these silent periods. There's still no editing on this channel. As it turns out, the second log I dropped over here, my neighbor Ryan came out and helped me with it. And he's into editing videos. Said he has all the software and all the know-how to do it. So you never know. We might come into the modern era here with our video filming and start doing more professional productions. But I doubt it. It's not my focus. My focus is getting the work done and My apologies, we haven't been getting out as much content lately as I'd like. We were hoping to do 2 videos a week, but it's just been hard with as much stuff as I have going on. So that's probably an adequate notch there. And then what I'll do is I'll take you around to the other side while we drop this tree. Alright, so we'll continue along filming from here and hopefully get this down. My notch again is over on this side here. So now I'll probably just go slightly above that point and start cutting in here. Now a lot of what determines which way this tree is going to go is the weight of the branches and stuff up above. And I'm pretty sure this is going to fall where I want it to. It's got to go right down in line with these other logs, and that'll make it really easy for me to get it next to them and on some skids. Don't know if I'm lined up really well there. Now, of all trees to cut down like this, fir tree is one of the easiest. Fir is a really easy wood to blast through with your axe, unlike a lot of hardwoods and even spruce. Spruce I find is a lot harder. I'd probably spend 2 and 3 times the amount of time to drop a similar sized spruce tree even. And then the other nice thing about these fir trees is that they're very easy to take the bark off of and finish them. All right, it's gonna go soon. Not much holding on now. Keep at it. I'm just about all the way through. There. Pretty near perfect. Awesome. All right. All right. So now that the tree's down, I'm just going to take my ribbon off here. Debarking again goes real smooth with fir trees. You just use your axe to scrape along the length of the trunk. I won't bore you guys with all of this because this is going to take probably, I don't know, a good 20 minutes or more to get this prepared. But as you come up to the branches, you just drive those off the same way. And I'll just continue doing that and peeling up this log until it's done. And I think at this point, I'll grab my little limbing axe. It's lighter weight to use that than to use this heavy one. So I'll give another pause there on the video, and I'll come back when I've got this Just about done. Hopefully that's still focusing. I have some problems with that camera. I have to keep touching the screen to keep it from shutting off, or the video will go dead if my camera shuts off. And sometimes when I tap the screen, it changes the focus, and that's where things get all blurry. Anyways, I'm all the way up here now with my limbing, and we're still not into any green or living branches there, right here. I think this is the start of some of the living branches, maybe up about here. So this tree had come to the end of its life. Unfortunately, it does seem to have a bit of a bow going this way. So it might be hard to salvage a good 12-foot section out of it. That's nice and straight, but that's what I'm going to need. Okay, yeah, looking at this log now, with the bow that's in it, it almost looks like my usable log is only going to start about here, which unfortunately means I've lost some of the best diameter of this log. The bottom, 8 feet of it isn't going to be probably very useful. And it's not going to be as big a log as what I would like diameter-wise. But if I go from about there, I need about 12 feet of usable log for what I plan to do with this. What I'll do though, just in case I change plans, is I generally come up to where, pretty much where the diameter of the log is no longer usable to me. And that's right up about here. We're down to a diameter I can get my hands around, about that big. So at that point, we'll use the bow saw. We'll knock the top off of this. And then we know what our usable log length is that we have to clean and pile here. And, okay, I'm getting jammed there because this here is hung up on a tree and it's causing the weight to come back. So I'm going to need my axe to take that apart. Couple cuts this way. There. All right, so that gets rid of that heavy part there. And now here's what we have for a log. And I would say the section I'm going to use to build with would be maybe from about here down to where the bend, where it starts to straighten, I should say, right to about there. Shoot, we're having trouble adjusting our video. Sorry guys. There. Hopefully that camera won't fall over on me. You guys can see me here. Alright, so you can see I've got all the branches off it now. I've got maybe half the bark off of it all together. From the time we started chopping there, I'd say it's been about 20 minutes to get to this point. It may take me an hour by the time I'm done. I don't waste anything, so even the top of the tree that we sawed off up there, I'll end up delimbing that. And I take everything right down to a very small diameter. I'll use the very smallest diameters for fence posts. I'll use the bigger diameters for maybe some little building projects, similar to the camp that we built the first time around, where we used all the small, we used diameter poles maybe that big for the roof logs on the A-frame cabin that we built. So the tops of these trees may give me one log that I could use for something like that. That would be like a fairly decent diameter for a roof beam or something like that. And then a very small diameter at the very top for maybe a fence post when I go to fence off my orchard. And then whatever we can use out of the main trunk here, we're going to put to work on our next cabin. Now, I'm not going to get into the logistics of what I'm going to build there today because I think this video's run far enough. I'm just going to say a couple words about the work here. It definitely takes a